All right, everyone, this is Rodrigo Peplau, and we're starting right now another edition of Sitecore User Group Brazil. So glad to see a lot of people joining, um, some famous, familiar friends in the room today. Welcome, Kamruz Jaman. Welcome, Mito, Alan. It's very good to have all of you guys here with us. Thank you so much. And today we have a very special guest with us who is not a newbie in our user group, Akshay Shura. He is bringing us his thoughts on how the AI is rewriting the CMS that we know. And hopefully we will learn if we are ready or not. But before we get there, as usual, let's speak about what's going on with the Sitecore user group, with the Sitecore community since the last edition. All right, so we got proudly myself and José Neto, who is also on the call and one of the organizers. We got our four pillars, four platforms, a comparison of the Sitecore AI and the main competitors. And we got really honored with that, but also surprised because, we are going to compare Sitecore with other platforms, and most vendors are not very a big fan of that idea. And I think Sitecore having us doing that means that they are confident on what they are doing right now with the Sitecore AI. Also, our colleague Anne Kinner from the UDG in Germany, also now part of the MSK group, got her paper also accepted. Huh? Ready. Next. I think that's what just happened since the last edition. The MVP award was announced, right? We have 215 Sitecore MVPs this year in 2026, and proudly we have 68 ambassadors, 43 strategies, and 146 technologies, which is a good number, and still in the name of the figure of 200s. Here, it's a Brazilian user group, right? So why not recalling the people who are in Brazilian MVPs. That's me with 11 MVPs. Mr. José Neto, welcome back this year. You have your 8th MVP. Roberto Barbedo, who is not in the call, but got his 3rd MVP after a while, after 10 years, actually. Álvaro Montenegro got his 3rd MVP in a row. And Peter Mitev. Peter used to be part of the Sitecore company, and when he left the company, now he can finally become an MVP as well. He moved to Brazil, to Sorocaba, a city where José Neto is originated from, and now we have another MVP in Brazil, which is amazing. Right, so that's us. I see people are still joining. Thanks everyone who is coming late. That's all good. We're still here. All right, and Sitecore Hackathon 2026. The man in this room with us, Akshay Shura, the creator of the Sitecore Hackathon. Can you just throw us some words about this edition of Hackathon? Why it's special? What's going on? Akshay, floor is yours.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much for having me present. It's a good turnout, so it's awesome. Thank you so much for everyone taking their time out of your day to join this user group. It makes it special when you have more people on. So the Sitecore Hackathon, I think, has been running for over a decade. Cameras just wrote "Go Horse." It's well attended, right? Like you can have a team of 3. Usually, I mean, we've had some hackathons where we had 90 plus teams, but we average around like 30, I think. And the whole premise is we come up with an idea or two. No, none of the teams, yeah, there you go, the horse. None of the teams actually know what the idea is until an hour before it starts. They get the idea and then they start working on it. And then they have 24 hours to produce something. And then it goes in a public repo on GitHub. And they get judged on that, and depending on the number of categories, we pick a winner for each category. Oh, there you go. Um, and we usually present the awards at SUG-BR Europe, which is nice. And then the main thing for me is one is, people often say it was a lot of fun. A good number of people drop out because they don't realize how difficult it is to come up with ideas, formulate it, and build it in 24 hours. But the people who do end up doing it pretty much spend the whole 24 hours, sometimes taking naps, but most of the time working. For me, where it's useful is one is to see the community getting together, which is fun. All the messages, all the jiffies, all the pictures of people with Red Bull and food and drink and all the fun stuff. Well, once it's done, though, the best part is having that public repo sitting there. So I've, in my past, used a couple of the times referred to the repositories for the hackathon to get ideas or to see how someone solved a specific problem. And I think having that open resource of code, which hundreds of people wrote, is very, very useful. So I'm excited for this one. Let's see what all the teams come up with. I'm curious.
Yeah, I checked last time there was 33 teams this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, Akshay. So a lot of people already know you're a famous guy, but lots don't. And we would like to know a little bit more about you, Akshay. That's why I'd like to bring you to my quick interview.
Okay.
I hope it doesn't hurt. I promise won't bite. Okay, so we spoke about the hackathon, and I think you mentioned how important it is the legacy of that. And can you mention like some projects that call up your attention? It doesn't matter the time, some things that you remember. It doesn't have to be project, but things that happen, anecdotes in these many years of hackathons that you think might be good to highlight.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, the pictures are always fun to watch what people are doing in the middle of the night while they're coding. Some people taking naps on the floor on the sleeping bags, right? But there's several projects. I can't really think of many, but the one I think recently we had a project where you use natural language to create PowerShell reports. I think that was kind of interesting because we all use Sitecore PowerShell, right, when we're working with Sitecore, and that was something which you could instantly put it into your existing Sitecore instance and start using it. And that was the one which was interesting to me is I know like some of the concepts are really, really cool, but you always have to figure out how does that apply to me? Maybe it might or might not apply to you, right? But creating reports in PowerShell is something we all do pretty often. So that was
Hmm.
something that really resonated well because I could just use it today. I don't have to wait till a case aligns with what someone built. Um,
Gabe Estreza,
yeah,
shout out to him. Yeah.
yeah. And then also like anything that like again for us we are more like on the development end. So anything that helps from like a content editing development perspective always is useful to me because you could just use it straight away. You don't have to wait till a case comes through.
Hmm.
So my favorite categories are always those that help us build sites faster, better, provide more options.
Is it difficult? Is it exhausting to because the day of the hackathon we all know is exhausting. But what
Yeah.
about before and after?
Yeah, so the good thing is we've kind of formulated it in a way where it's kind of spread out. So just to give you an idea, the most painful part, and which I have never automated, and I don't know why, is when people fill out the forms for me to have that go to the site with like an approval kind of thing. Never, never built it. So I manually add the teams to the site, which is a pain in the behind because towards the end you get like 5, 10 teams every couple of hours, and it's kind of frustrating. But once you finish so the form's already closed as of the 20th. We have a couple of weeks before the hackathon actually starts from when the form closes, and there's a reason for that, right? So we have to run scripts to create the repos, the boilerplate repos. We have to set up spreadsheets and all of that fun stuff for the scoring to give it to the judges. But all of that, we have enough time to do it. On the day off, it's more of supporting teams. So trying to spread it across that at least one of us is available to answer questions on Slack or any other social platforms if we don't want people to be stuck waiting on an answer. So the 24 hours goes into that to make sure people can submit, and then people usually have a lot of questions towards the end when the submission deadline is hitting pretty close. So we're trying to help them trying to get their submissions in to let them know just start your video upload right now and then put the link in, things like that. Always trying to help the teams. Once it's finished, though, we take a breather for like a day or two. We don't really touch anything. And then we run reports on the actual teams who submitted it, create the spreadsheet for the scoring. And then it's a matter of following up with the judges, trying to meet the deadline because we have a very short window before we have to pick the winners in the categories. So we need to let Sitecore know so they can print the awards for the SUG-BR Europe. So we're trying to get to that deadline, trying to get that out. But it's mostly pretty in a good formula, I should say that it's not hectic at any points, but the 24 hours where you guys are building, it's also hectic for us because we're constantly keeping an eye on chats, keeping an eye on socials, trying to unblock people.
Yeah, and I must admit, not every communication in that channel is like helpful. Sometimes where people are just venting or making fun
Yeah.
of each other, there's a lot of noise. Right. Actually, we're the top of the hour, but before I pass to you, I would like you to ask you if you would have any message for Brazil and by extension for the Latin American community, you that are so prominent in our community.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. I think so. This is based off my previous experience, and the presentation I'm going to present is if you have ideas, we are in a time in our lives and in the technology space that you can bring it to life. And if you have ideas, build them. Use AI to build them, trying to conceptualize it, put it not just in your brain and paper, but build those because you never know what comes out of them. There might be things in there which makes you think of something else which will be helpful. But I think the way to think of it is always look at how would it be helpful to you. Don't worry about making it a product. Don't worry about making $1 billion. Just worry about here's a problem that I have to go through every 2 days, every day, every week, and try to solve that problem and then solve the next problem and the next problem. At some point, you will figure out, oh, wait a second, this could be something that's useful to more than me, and then that can be a product at some point. So that's what I would tell them.